In order to start programming with C# and MonoGame on Linux, you will need to install the .NET SDK. So navigate to Microsoft's installation instructions, find your operating system. In this case, mine is Fedora. My package manager is DNF. Just follow the instructions and install the .NET SDK. Next, you will need to install MonoGame templates. They aren't required, but they will make it much easier to start developing with MonoGame. Otherwise, you will have to code everything from scratch every single time you make a new project. Since this is a beginner tutorial, I will not be showing how to set up Wine for shader compilation. But if you'd like, you can follow the tutorial on the MonoGame website. Once you've installed everything, you can just open your terminal, navigate to the location where you want to create your game, and execute .NET new, platform, and then the game name. So in this example, I am using .NET new MG desktop GL, so that's an application for like a PC, with my game as the name of the project file. Now to execute and run the game, just go into the game folder, in this case my game, cd my game, and say .NET build and .NET run. And there you have it, your first game. Technically it's not a game yet since there's nothing in it, but it's a starting point. Now you can just add whatever you'd like. In order to use MonoGame with C# in the command line on Windows, you would first need to install the .NET SDK. Next up, you will need to install MonoGame templates. They aren't required, but as I said in the Linux tutorial, then you don't have to recode everything from scratch each time you create a new project. Furthermore, you will also have to install a IDE such as Visual Studio Code. To install these tools, you can just go to the MonoGame website, to their Getting Started documentation, and then go to the Windows section. When you scroll to the bottom, you will find the instructions to install it in the command line. Just follow this link, and you will be presented with a screen where you should select your platform. Once you have selected your platform, it will start downloading the executable. Just execute it and install it. Once the .NET SDK is installed, you can just copy the command from the MonoGame documentation, and it will proceed to install MonoGame templates. If it throws an error, you will probably need to reinstall the .NET SDK because it was installed incorrectly. After it has installed the MonoGame templates, you can change the directory, cd, to a directory where you would like to create your game. In this case, I will cd to documents, and then I will execute the following command to create a new game called my game. After you have created this game, you can just run the code using .NET Build and .NET Run. If it shows a window, everything was installed correctly, and now you can proceed to create your game. Another way of installing tools for C# and MonoGame is by installing Visual Studio. Visual Studio is a bit bulkier than the other solutions, but when you first start out, it might be a better solution, as you may be unfamiliar with command line prompts. To install Visual Studio, just navigate to the install page on Microsoft's website. You have to select the edition. For most of us, this will be the community edition, unless you work for an enterprise or will do this professionally. To figure out the differences between the editions, I would recommend you read up on them, and then you will see which one will be best suited for you. Once the executable has downloaded, run it, and you can select the continue button. It will proceed to install a few things, which might take a while, so be patient. Select the Modify button next to Visual Studio Community, Professional or Enterprise Edition, not the Visual Studio Build tools. Once in here, select these three extensions and tick the Modify button. The extensions will proceed to install. It might also take a while before it is finished. Once everything has been installed, it will ask you to sign in. You don't have to sign in, you should just continue, and will ask you which theme you'd like. I'm just going to use the default theme. Now it will proceed to open. Once it is opened, you can just continue without code to install the MonoGame templates. Finally, you can go to the Extensions tab and select Manage Extensions. Now search for the MonoGame templates extension and install it. After you have pressed download, close the dialog box and close Visual Studio. It will then prompt you if it can modify Visual Studio. Just select Modify, wait for it to finish installing, and launch Visual Studio again. Now you can test if everything has been installed correctly. Select Create New Project, and in the search bar, search MonoGame. All the templates will show up, and in this case I'm just going to use cross-platform desktop app. Now create this project. It will ask you to pick a name. You can pick any name. Once the project has been created, you can press the Run button. Now a window will pop up. It will be empty and it will have the MonoGame logo in the top left corner. This means everything has been installed correctly. Now you can start creating your first game.